You've heard the word 1,000 times. Bitcoin. Some people say it's the future of money. Others say it's a scam. Some people became millionaires from it. Others lost everything. But here's the truth. Most people who have an opinion on Bitcoin have never actually taken 10 minutes to understand what it actually is. So today, that changes. By the end of this video, you're going to understand Bitcoin. Not just the word, but the idea. How it works, why people care about it, and why it's different from anything that came before it. No jargon, no hype, no agenda. Let's start from scratch. Before we talk about Bitcoin, we need to talk about money. Because Bitcoin is money, just a different kind. Think about what money actually does. It lets you store value. You work today and save the reward for later. It lets you exchange value. You give something, you get something back. And it works because everyone agrees it has value. For most of human history, that thing was gold. Gold is rare, hard to fake, and doesn't rot. It was perfect. But gold is heavy, inconvenient. So over time, governments created paper money, notes backed by gold, and eventually just notes backed by trust in the government itself. That's what your cash is today. And today, most money isn't even paper. It's just numbers in a database, a bank's database. You trust that when you see $1,000 in your app, it's real. But who controls that database? The bank, the government, not you. Now here's the question Bitcoin was created to answer. What if you could have digital money that no single person, bank, or government controls? In 2008, the world was in a financial crisis. Banks had been reckless, and governments bailed them out with public money. Millions of ordinary people lost their savings, their homes, their jobs. Right at that moment, almost like a direct response, someone published a 9-page document online. The author used the name Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knows if that's a real person, a woman, a man, or a group of people. To this day, Satoshi's true identity is one of the great mysteries of the internet. That document, called the Bitcoin White Paper, described a system for electronic cash that could work without banks, without governments, and without any central authority at all. On January 3, 2009, Satoshi launched the network. Embedded in Bitcoin's very first transaction was a headline from that day's newspaper. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. A message, a middle finger to the system. So Bitcoin wasn't born in a boardroom. It was born out of distrust. And that spirit is baked into everything it does. Okay, this is the meaty part. Let's break it down simply. Imagine a Google spreadsheet that tracks who owns how much Bitcoin. Every transaction, Alice sent 0.5 Bitcoin to Bob, gets added to this sheet. Now, here's what makes Bitcoin different. That spreadsheet isn't stored on one server. It's copied, identically, across hundreds of thousands of computers around the world. This is called the blockchain, a chain of blocks, where each block contains a group of recent transactions. Nobody owns this spreadsheet. Everyone can see it. And to add a new row, you have to follow the rules. Rules enforced by the software itself, not by any person. But wait, how do you stop someone from cheating? From just writing, "I own 1 million Bitcoin" on the spreadsheet? This is where mining comes in. To add a new block of transactions to the blockchain, a computer has to solve an extremely difficult math puzzle, like really hard, billions of attempts per second hard. The first computer to solve it gets to add the block and earn some Bitcoin as a reward. This process is called proof of work. Why does this matter? Because to cheat, to change an old record, you'd have to redo all that work for every block after it, faster than the rest of the entire network combined. With hundreds of thousands of machines running, that's essentially impossible. Cheating is mathematically unprofitable. So people play by the rules, not because they're forced to, but because cheating simply doesn't work. This is the genius of Bitcoin. It replaces trust in a person or institution with trust in math. Here's something that makes Bitcoin genuinely unique compared to regular money. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, ever. It's written into the code itself. No government, no CEO, no one can change that. Compare that to regular money. Governments can print more dollars whenever they want, and they do. That's partly why prices go up over time, a process called inflation. Your money slowly buys less. Bitcoin was designed to be the opposite, scarce by design, like digital gold. Every few years, the mining reward gets cut in half. This is called the halving. Less new Bitcoin enters the market over time. The last Bitcoin is expected to be mined sometime around the year 2140. Whether that scarcity makes it valuable or just rare, that's the debate. But the fact that the supply is fixed and predictable is something that's never existed in the history of money before. So what do people actually use it for? Some people hold it as an investment, betting that its value will rise over time as more people want it and the supply stays fixed. They treat it like digital gold, a store of value. Some people use it to send money internationally without paying high bank fees or waiting days. Send $1,000 to someone in another country in minutes for a fraction of the cost of a wire transfer. In countries with unstable currencies, think Venezuela, Argentina, Turkey, some people use Bitcoin to protect their savings from hyperinflation. When your local currency loses 80% of its value in a year, Bitcoin's volatility can start looking appealing. And a growing number of businesses accept it as payment for real goods and services. It's not just theoretical. It's used by real people every day. We'd be doing you a disservice if we only talked about the good stuff. Bitcoin has real, serious criticisms. It's extremely volatile. The price can drop 50% in a matter of months, and has, multiple times. Anyone who tells you it only goes up is lying to you. It uses enormous amounts of energy. The mining process, all those computers solving puzzles, consumes more electricity than some entire countries. That's a genuine environmental concern, even if the industry is shifting toward renewable sources. It's been used for illegal transactions, not more than cash. Studies consistently show the majority of Bitcoin is used for legitimate purposes, but the anonymous nature has attracted bad actors. And it's complicated. Lose your password? There's no customer support to call. Make a mistake sending it? There's no undo button. The freedom comes with real responsibility. These are not reasons to dismiss it, but they are reasons to go in with your eyes open. So here's where we land. Bitcoin is a digital currency, decentralized, scarce, and secured by math instead of trust in any institution. It was born from frustration with a broken financial system, and it represents a genuinely new idea about what money can be. Is it the future of money? Maybe. Is it a speculative asset that could crash to zero? Also possible. Is it something worth understanding? Absolutely, because it's already reshaping finance, technology, and how the world thinks about value. You don't have to buy any, you don't have to believe in it, but now when someone brings it up, you'll actually know what they're talking about. And that puts you ahead of most people. If you want to go deeper, how wallets work, what Ethereum is, or how to actually buy your first Bitcoin safely, let us know in the comments. We'll make it. Until then, stay curious, stay skeptical, and see you in the next one.